Right. Israel says it has killed Ali Larijani, Iran's National Security Council chief and one of the most powerful figures in the Iranian regime. Defense Minister Israel Katz said Larijani was eliminated Monday night. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declared in a video address that Larijani is dead, describing him as the head of a gang of gangsters that runs Iran. Netanyahu says Israel is weakening the Iranian regime in the hope of giving the Iranian people an opportunity to remove it. He added it won't happen all at once or easily, but if Israel persists, it will give Iranians the chance to take their destiny into their own hands. Iran has not confirmed whether Larijani has been killed or injured. Meanwhile, Donald Trump says the US has been told by most NATO allies that they don't want to get involved with our military operation against the terrorist regime of Iran in the Middle East. So we have another high-profile assassination, another call for regime overthrow, and America's NATO allies essentially saying we're sitting this one out. Let's start with who Ali Larijani was, because understanding his importance shows you how significant this targeting is, if confirmed. Larijani, 67 years old, had emerged as one of the most important figures in Iran in recent months. First, he was a significant leader in suppressing popular protests in January. Then he became central to the transition following Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei's death. He had a long association with the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps and became a visible emblem of the regime, even taking part in a public rally last week in Tehran despite being a prime target for Israel. Think about that. Israel had made clear they were hunting Iranian leadership. Larijani knew he was a target, and he still appeared publicly at a rally in Tehran. That is either extraordinary courage or extraordinary defiance. Larijani skillfully navigated Islamic Republic politics for decades, serving in various crucial roles. He was an IGC commander during the Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s before transitioning to political positions. He served as head of state broadcaster, Iran's chief nuclear negotiator, and Speaker of Parliament for 12 years until 2020. He increasingly had Khamenei's ear on security issues after his 2004 appointment as advisor. After last year's conflict with Israel, he returned to prominence as head of the National Security Council, regarded by many analysts as the top decision maker in Iran. The top decision maker, not just a bureaucrat or administrator, the person actually making strategic decisions about Iran's war response. Larijani came from an influential clerical family. One brother, Sadiq, is an Ayatollah and former head of Iran's judiciary. This is Iranian aristocracy, the clerical elite who run the Islamic Republic. And Ali Larijani was also an established academic trained in mathematics and computer science at Sharif University. With a doctorate in philosophy from University of Tehran, he wrote extensively about German philosopher Immanuel Kant. So this is not some thuggish revolutionary guard without sophistication. This is an intellectual, a strategist, someone who understood both military power and philosophical justifications for authority. Analysts say while Larijani was seen as a pragmatist rather than ideological hardliner, he was committed to the survival of the Islamic Republic as Iran's Nizamite system of government. That is the key point. Pragmatic doesn't mean moderate. It means flexible in tactics while committed to regime survival. Since the conflict began, Larijani frequently goaded President Trump and was instrumental in devising Iran's war strategy. He posted on X soon after the war started, unlike the United States, Iran has prepared itself for a long war. That is direct messaging to Trump. We're ready for this. We've planned for prolonged conflict. We won't collapse quickly. Netanyahu's statement is revealing. He says Israel is trying to give Iranians an opportunity to remove the regime. It won't happen all at once or easily, but if Israel persists, it will give them the chance. That is the theory. Systematically eliminate Iranian leadership, weaken the regime structure, create conditions where popular uprising becomes possible. But here is the problem with that theory. Iran just brutally suppressed popular protests in January with Larijani playing a significant role. The regime killed thousands of protesters. The apparatus of repression, Irgasi, Basij intelligence services remains intact and willing to massacre civilians. Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Serkar said Iranians are safer without Larijani and Basiji commander Gholamreza Soleimani, whom Israel also claims to have killed. Defense Minister Katz said the IDF has been instructed to continue hunting down the leadership of Iran. So this is declared policy now, systematic assassination of Iranian leadership until either the regime collapses or surrenders. And then there is Trump's statement about NATO allies. Most NATO members told the US they don't want to get involved with our military operation against the terrorist regime of Iran. That is diplomatically significant. NATO is a defensive alliance. Article 5, an attack on one is an attack on all, only applies to defensive scenarios. This is offensive military operation against Iran that America and Israel chose to launch. NATO allies are saying this isn't our fight. We're not participating. You are on your own. That undermines the international legitimacy of the operation. It means America and Israel are acting largely alone rather than as part of broad Western coalition. It means when economic consequences hit oil prices, inflation, recession risks, America can't share that burden across NATO. It means Trump's claim this war makes the world safer is disputed by America's own allies who are refusing to participate. Here is the bottom line. Israel says it killed Ali Larijani, Iran's National Security Council chief and top decision maker. Netanyahu claims this weakens the regime and gives Iranians opportunity to overthrow it. Larijani was a 67-year-old IRGC veteran, long-time political operator, academic, member of clerical elite, and architect of Iran's war strategy. He recently appeared publicly at Tehran rally despite being Israeli target. Iran hasn't confirmed his death. Israel's defense minister says IDF instructed to continue hunting down the leadership. And Trump reveals most NATO allies told us they don't want involvement in the operation against Iran. Another assassination. Another promise that regime will fall if Israel just keeps killing enough leaders. Another assumption that Iranians will rise up despite regime's proven willingness to massacre thousands. And America's own allies saying this isn't our war. The strategy is decapitation through targeted killings. The hope is regime collapse. The reality is Iran's repression apparatus remains intact, willing to kill protesters and prepared for long war just as Larijani predicted. This has been The Royal Truth. I'll see you next time.